Hello everyone and welcome to Black Scottish Stories. This is a place where we share authentic stories of Black immigrants living in Scotland. We want to make sure that change the narrative of Black immigrants living anywhere in the world. And because I live in Scotland, I've chosen to, choose Scotland as my own abode, and I've chosen to share the stories of the Black immigrants living where I live. Today I have a very beautiful, intelligent lady who has started her own company here in Scotland called Grains and Oils. Her name is Adedoyin Mfon, and she'll be joining me here and sharing her story from when she came into the country and up to this moment. So join me, let's dive into Doyin's story. Hello, Doyin, and welcome to Black Scottish Stories.
Thank you.
How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Okay. I want to freestyle today.
All right.
Freestyling. You understand? We're not doing anything extraordinary.
Okay.
Yeah, so please feel free, stay and answer as honestly as possible, because here at Black Scottish Stories, our aim is to, share authentic Black immigrant stories.
All right.
Through the Scottish lens. So, could you introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Adedoyin Mfon. I'm Nigerian by origin. I currently reside in Scotland, Aberdeen, Scotland. What else? I am currently running a business where we are focused on reducing food waste in the UK. Yeah.
Amazing. She's very, very humble. She's very humble. So I'll take you back to the beginning.
Okay.
To when you first came to Scotland.
All right.
I know you didn't. Aberdeen is not your first city.
No, it's
of
not.
Abode.
Very right on that.
Yeah, Edinburgh. So tell me about your experience when you first came to Scotland.
Okay, so what brought me and my family technically into the UK was my MSc. So I did an MSc in Finance, Technology and Policy.
Fintech.
At the University of Edinburgh. So, that's why we're living in Edinburgh. And then just almost immediately after my MSc, my husband got a job in Aberdeen because he works in the oil and gas sector. And then we had to move down here.
Ah, great. Okay. So please tell me, when you came into Scotland, how did you feel? What did you go to? Tell me, because I want to know your story.
Okay. All right. So my story in Scotland, right? Not before Scotland. All right. So we came in here in September. That was September 17th was our flight from Lagos.
2022.
Yes. So we came in here in September, and we had booked an Airbnb prior to coming. And when leaving, our plan was that once we get here, at least spend like 2 days in the Airbnb, we get our dream house. We get our dream house, moving, settling, and I was meant to be starting school like technically the next day after we got here. So not like I had so much time to think. And we were coming with 2 technically toddlers, because my daughter was 5 as of then. My son was 3 or 2. Yeah, 3. So we had to. I don't even think we put so much thought into how we're going to manage the kids, but we're thinking about we're going to just come and blow and just make money.
Yes, make money. That dollars is on the floor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, pounds, like UK pounds.
Just get some nice jobs and then just start our lives and everything. But technically, I wasn't going to be working. I thought I was going to be able to work with school. However, as we got in here on Sunday. The Monday that followed, I started lectures, and that was it. It was like just dumping me in the midst of initially it seemed to be safe initially, but when we started doing the Python and machine learning, and I started asking myself, who sent me?
I do not know, please. Every time I hear those things, the Python, my head does closes, and that is very funny because I'm very interested in AI. Yeah. But you see that part, that coding part. It's not code, please. No code tools for me.
So, it was funny because when I was applying for the course and I saw those machine learning and Python courses, I was excited about it and looking forward to it. But when we started, it just seemed like everything was just rushed. Like I just, because for me, I didn't have any experience in it at all. So I'd assumed that there would be like a way that I would have learned like from
You'll
this, but
ease you into
the
it.
teaching was like I already had like 5 years experience of
Oh
coding.
my.
So I had to like spend so much time trying to learn coding. Well, I also, my classmates were also very useful, like yeah, they were actually. And then with supporting and then teaching, but everybody's also trying to rush to also ensure that they finish their coursework, so you have to just try to keep up. And interestingly, I think for the first 1 week, I was the only black person in my class.
Ooh.
Because I went to the University of Edinburgh.
Yes, the University of Edinburgh is the prestigious one.
And somehow,
one of it, I think it's part of the Russell Group schools.
School. It's an amazing school, by the way. It's an amazing school. It's an experience that I can't exchange for. Yeah, so it's an experience that I would probably repeat again, yeah, because it was an amazing one. Because the school has so much support for you and everything. If you find able to like take advantage of them.
Okay, so you've heard it from doing. If you want to go to a very awesome Russell Group school, Edinburgh University, but this is free advert for them. I hope they see it and they come and pay me.
Yeah.
So how did you cope being the only black like for that short time, and then also the fact that you're in a new environment? You've left everything familiar.
Yeah.
You've come here. You are now thrown like into the deep sea with sharks.
Yeah, exactly.
Meaning like he had no idea what Python was. You had no idea what all those coding and all those writings of codes and lines of codes and all of that. You had no idea what it was. And then, apart from that, you had to maintain a home. You had children, toddlers. Oh my goodness! And then you had your husband. How did you juggle all of that?
I think first of all, interesting thing, apart from even being like, well, I was the only black person for 1 week until I met my amazing Becca. Yeah, so she's from Zambia. And so we're now like the two brown skin girls in class. I remember the first time I saw her, like, oh, hi, my name is Doyin, the previously only black skin girl. She's like, oh,
brown skin girl. You guys just click immediately. That was something familiar to hold on to.
Yeah. So apart from that, I was actually probably like the oldest person in class.
Oh no! So double.
So imagine, well, maybe there's people that I don't know if there's anybody.
Or maybe they looked.
I'm not sure. No, they were actually really young. Some of them were like 20s, 21. Most of them were like new graduates.
Doyin, let's pause. You can see how young Doyin looks. Doyin, please just tell them your age.
I'm 1987, so you can.
Hey, God Almighty! Can you see how young she is?
Yeah.
She's nearly 40. I see how she looks like in her 20s.
So you can imagine how you're also there, and like everybody's like line of thought was like different. For me, I already had a previous like 10 years of experience working in the banking sector, and most people there. And I think at that point I was thinking of finding someone to collaborate with. Before coming out, I've always been an entrepreneur, right from being in Nigeria, which you know. And even when I was coming, I knew that I was still going to delve into entrepreneurship. So I was thinking about, like, with every course, I'm thinking about what business I can start with everything I learned and who I could probably like collaborate with. But people in my class were not thinking about business at that point in time. Most of them were just thinking about getting a job, building a career. So for me, I'm like, I've done 10 years, and they're thinking about, after I've worked for like 10 years now.
But you already had that experience.
Yeah, so we're like totally different, like decades apart and stuff. So that was like another challenge for me. But I was able to work around it because I feel it's not like I didn't let that all the challenges get to me. Well, it was pretty challenging also. I wouldn't deny being in school and having 2 kids, but still comes with an amazing husband. Because my husband is quite hands-on.
And that's the thing. Because here, you have to make sure that you both work as a team to make sure that there's no friction at home. Obviously, there will be friction sometimes. But because both of you are working as a team, the friction can be overcome and it will now become like a smooth sailing from there. So I think that's a very important thing for us to get, that a support system at home is very important for balance, even outside of the home. Okay.
Because I think my husband played a big part in many things. Does that mean it's been upsetting sometimes?
Shout out to Mr. Mfon. Shout out to you. You're a star.
Don't let his head swell too much.
It's allowed. Let his head swell for this time. So now this is a bit personal. You were going to school, you were trying to adjust, you had children as well. Was it a big change for your husband as well? And how did he manage it with you going to school, he having to look for jobs for work, and then even take care of children while you're not there as well? So how did he, as an African man, how did he take it? So you can look back to when you were in Nigeria, where you can merge it and let me the difference, if there was any difference.
So I think that so John is someone that even like John has always been an handsome person. He's always been someone that was always like,
so it wasn't even strange for him. It
but wasn't not totally strange. So this is so I'll say, like, for instance, like even back when we had like people who helped us like with chores and that we like paid staff in the house, John would outrightly like go out, will actually do those chores that they're meant to do normally, and there are cases where this paid staff probably take advantage of the fact that he would do it
and not do it. Yes.
So he's someone that would just, he really wasn't, he's never been someone that feel that would say, oh, this is not my role, that's not my role. He's always been someone who was there to take care of his kids. Like he has
always been a present father.
Yeah, bait his kids, maybe make us breakfast or something. Like,
oh, great.
He always used to do something. So having to do chores would not be, it wasn't like new for him. But of course, the difference is that here he did not have the luxury of being able to say, oh, okay, somebody else should come and do this, because now it's now much more like
if you don't do it, it will still be waiting.
Yeah, so and I think he owned everything perfectly well, because it's just interesting. I think in our relationship we never really like have like times maybe like we never really like divide chores, or we just
do it.
We just took up chores. Just might be you are the one who takes care of the kitchen. You're the one who does the trash. The one who does the laundry. Like we just find ourselves taking up job. Maybe by you finances where my
there's no like you do this.
Yeah.
This is the only thing I would do.
It might be disorganization in our party, but somehow
I understand that because that is how it works in my house. Because there's no particular
but we find ourselves taking responsibility for things that we needed to be done.
Yeah, exactly. Just take the responsibility. Yeah. Like, okay, this place is untidy, then you do it. Then the children have
things
to
that
do
just are not his things that he doesn't.
Yes,
like,
and so he
doesn't like to wash plates.
Oh, great. So
but if there's dishwasher, he will load the dishwasher for us. So it's fine with loading the dishes, but washing plates is not his.
Okay. So that means I think the way you have worked, you've already understood that, okay, this is not your thing. Yeah. This is not my
some
thing.
Things that just not his thing.
Yeah.
He likes to cook. When he cooks, you're left with the mess. So.
Okay.
So we just
it's normal. Guys don't know how to clean after themselves
when they do, and then things that minding the kids. Like I think in school, then usually when sometimes I drop the kids in
nursery.
Yeah, at school, and then sometimes it was when I dropped. I don't know what my schedule was like, my calendar, and then whoever it is will pick. Whoever I was able to pick will pick.
Okay.
There were times when he was in a meeting and I had to leave school and come to pick the kids from school.
Wow.
So which is why schooling was also like a challenge, because while we were here, even before, and this is where God was also faithful to us, because he didn't get a job immediately. I was schooling, I couldn't work because it was exit for me being in the business school. And but luckily for us, where he was working back in Nigeria, they allowed
him to work remotely.
So he was working while
that was a blessing.
Yeah. So, and they used to do a lot of meetings because they used to work with the boards, and also used to do a lot of meetings. So there were times when he didn't plan that he had to pick up anybody, but so he had a meeting, and then maybe nursery called, and then we had to pick up our son, and then I had to come back from school to pick him up. So stuff like that. But I think now is a very good schedule, because now our kids finish at the same time, so we don't have to be doing multiple pickups. So we're getting there.
So everything is stage by stage.
It keeps getting better. Really.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Okay, so let's come to your business. Fun fact, people. So I and Doye are childhood friends. I've known Doye all her own life. I'm older than her.
True that.
I've known her all our own life. Yes. So we grew up together in Nigeria. So we are basically sisters. You know, I know everything about her. She knows everything about me. I can't pretend when it comes to her. She can't pretend when it comes to me, because we know each other's families, know everything. We know secrets that nobody has to know. Things like that. So yeah, and ever since we were little, Doyin has always been entrepreneurial. I remember one time when she would make chin chin and put them in those disposable cups, the see-through disposable cups, those smaller ones, the transparent ones, and they use foil to cover it, and I think use rubber band. Was it rubber band?
Once you put the foil, it irons.
Okay, yes, then she just stay on it, yes, and then she will give it to her dad to go and sell in the office. Give it to us and tell us to come and buy.
So you know the chin chin story is a funny story. So chin chin started after uni, actually.
Imagine.
So interesting. Not like I knew anything about chin chin. I don't know. I just knew what I didn't know like measurements or anything. I just went to flour, bought everything, and I made chin chin. After uni, before I got a job, I always wanted to do something, because I always wanted to do something. Before then, there are things I did also with I sold for.
Yes. For Auntie Precious, yeah.
So I was not sure if you want me to mention names. So
no, it's fine. So, nobody knows who Auntie Precious is. Only in a circle.
So I just made the chin chin, and the first chin chin I made was terrible. I remember I put them into all those bottles, water bottles, like recycling bottles, and then it was bad. Like, it was so my dad bought everything, and then he went to dash people in his office. So then I think after that, next one, we had a neighbor. Those were still on that first floor.
Which one?
Next to the Biogas.
Oh, okay, yes. The Coles.
Yes, their daughter.
Yes, Diola.
Yes, I think she was in a catering school. So I think my mom mentioned that she was in a catering. I met her and she gave me like.
I think she worked for Abnick, yes.
So she gave me what they call this recipe for the chin chin. Then I started making very nice chin chin. Then my dad printed the name of the chin chin. Then it was not a registered brand, so it was Crunchy Bites. And then my dad printed the Crunchy Bites for me. I bought a sealant, and then I started.
Yes, I remember that blue one.
Yes, Mommy still has it. It's still in
Are you serious?
It still works.
Oh wow! That's over
maybe up
15 years. Almost 15 years ago.
I think. So she still has it, still in the house. So I used to seal them in black night. Then that was still after I'd done the ones in disposable cup. I was selling I got the job with Diamond Bank. Yeah, it's my CD. And then
it's on LinkedIn, so if you give me her LinkedIn, she can mention Diamond Bank.
The job with Diamond Bank, and then I was selling it in training school. So during breaks, some people were bored or tired of whatever they're teaching us, and then just asked, "Do you have chin-chin?" So I just said, so I was making my training. So it was really cool and fun. So that was how chin-chin started.
Just right.
But it ended when I won after my training school.
Because you couldn't cope with it again. So now you've come here and you've registered a business.
Yeah.
You have Grains and Oil. Do you want to tell us what Grains and Oil is about?
So Grains and Oil is a company focused on reducing food waste in the UK and hopefully in other parts of the world later. So how we are reducing food waste is by providing modular biogas digesters for waste producers. Waste producers are homeowners, restaurants, hotels. So what we want is the case whereby we're able to reduce carbon footprint and greenhouse gas emissions. So instead of you having the council come to pick up the trash, your food waste from your house, which means that they are spending money on fueling the vehicles, the vans, and also releasing carbon into the atmosphere, you could just take your food waste and put it in the digester, generate energy, which can also power your eating. It might not actually, might not necessarily like give you your complete power for your house for a month, but to reduce your cost of power by at least 30%. That's what we want to do. And then hopefully you can now expand it until when it can reduce it up to 100%. Yeah.
Now, you started this business. What challenges have you faced? I know some of the challenges because I've worked on you. I've decided to partner with you, and talk to as many people as we've walked the streets of Aberdeen, entered lots of restaurants, asking their opinions. So what made you want to do this first of all? It's like a 2-in-1 question. So what made you want to do it first of all, and what challenges have you faced since starting this business?
Okay, so it's a. I think it started from. First of all, it's a very long journey, but let me just make it short a bit.
No worries.
Okay, so
Just give us a
yeah,
summary.
it started from like so I have a 5-year-old who is non-verbal, and then to improve his development, I started to research on foods and there's a lot of information out there about food and holistic living, and then I started trying them out, and I started noticing that with consciously putting organic meals into his food, we noticed improvements in his receptive skills, in his speech, words started coming out little by little. You even saw some today.
Yes.
And so it led me to register the business for, first of all, to make available sustainably grown food for people, especially for mothers like me who need these organic meals for their kids. Because I realized that going to the stores to find organic, most times you don't even find organic food in the stores. You have to probably look for an organic store around, which are not so many. So I felt it was going to be a good idea to have an online marketplace where organic food can be sold, and then anybody who wanted it can actually find it, and you can just get it delivered wherever you were. And then while doing this research, I also realized that not only did we have this organic food not available, but it was also being wasted. So I realized that there was even a bigger problem, just food waste. So now, also, how do we actually ensure that we're able to reduce this food waste and not make, because when food is wasted, it's not just food that is gone, it's resources, money, water.
Plenty of things.
So what can we do about it? So it's just it's an unavoidable problem, really, because even if you eat up all maybe you really don't have food that goes bad, you probably will have leftovers on your plate when you go to restaurants. You probably will go to hotels and then there's a buffet and then not everything
of
gets
course,
eaten.
it has to be
yes,
trashed.
and because of regulations, you actually cannot give the same.
Yes, those FDA regulations and stuff. Am I correct? Yeah. FDA, yeah.
Well, so you actually have to get everything. So instead of this establishment of losing money, what can we do? That means we can actually ensure that while this food, it's not like they want it to be wasted. They can actually get these scraps or peels of potatoes and all stuff that is supposed to be going to landfill. Because when it goes to landfill, also it generates greenhouse gases that's emitted into the atmosphere, which we also don't want. Okay. So instead of it living there and going there, and we're gonna have problems in two places, let's take it and put it into the digester, generate methane, and then power
and even reduce our cost as well. Because
exactly.
I remember we went to one restaurant and the restaurant told us that during winter they spend up to £8,000 or more
per month
on making sure on power, on energy. That was mind blowing. Like I couldn't believe that. How could £8,000?
So you can imagine the savings to them if they're able to cut.
If they're able to cut, because it's a restaurant, they would always have leftovers. They will always have food that they have to throw away. So instead of doing that, they just put it into that digester and that converts it into methane, and that powers their establishment, which is quite amazing. I think that's an amazing thing. So what are the challenges that you faced?
Okay, so first of all, of course, funding, because you need money to build prototype and everything. But interesting thing is, I think Aberdeen and Scotland at large it's a very good place to be as an immigrant, right?
Have you heard? Sorry, Scotland. Aberdeen is a very good place to be.
Yes, when I think about it, because there's so many things there's so many things that I did not achieve in the last 1 year. That towards the end of last year, I started getting aware of about the opportunities that are available here. Because there are lots of opportunities, but it's when it's ensuring to be in the right community and the right spaces where you get to hear the information and know how to apply. Because these things are out there, but if you don't know about it, you
can't know.
Struggling on your own. So I think I struggle with a lot of things and getting clarity on a lot of things. But I've had a couple of meetings this year already, which have been really good, and I know they're pointing me in the right direction.
Amazing.
Yeah, and right now we are working on just trying to work on getting our prototype set up so that we can be able to do testings for.
Oh, great! So that means our prototype is coming up very soon. Is that it?
This year.
Oh, amazing! Good. I would be, what's that word that we use in Nigeria? In Yoruba, it's polongo. That means we'll announce it everywhere. Ologo means you shout it out. It's a Yoruba slang. So you shout it out, you say it everywhere. Okay, that's good. That's amazing. So now you've been in Scotland for going to 3 years now. Yes, because you are going into your third year.
Yeah.
How would you summarize your experience? What would you say? Okay, let's start with, what do you miss about home?
Well, the warmth, not having to go, like my daughter wants to go to Lagos because she says, oh, I won't have to wear my coat. Not having to wear your coat when you are going out. That's like an amazing, that's something that's really amazing. So I think the weather, I miss the weather. And getting the local dishes here is pretty expensive. So like, I'll probably live like a king eating. I would expect my food more in Nigeria.
Yes.
Of course, I did miss my parents because they could just pop in every now and then.
Yeah, you could easily go to see them. But now we have to plan. You have to plan and save.
So, but thank God for video calls also for technology.
Yes, thank God for technology. Thank God for technology.
Letters.
Yes, exactly. And then it will take how many years
before it gets.
Where technology is babe. If you are not a tech person, I'm sorry. Don't mind me. But technology is good. Yeah. Now we can do video calls. Praise the Lord.
Yes, that's true.
That's good.
What else?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I've learned so much. I would say one thing. I admire your resilience.
Thank you.
The fact that you were doing such a tough course, a course that you had no idea what you were going into. Okay, you thought you knew, and then you found something else. You were shocked.
True that.
But even at that, you still came out with good grades. The
definition of good grades.
Well,
I didn't fail.
You didn't fail. Did you fail?
I didn't fail.
Please, you came out with good grades. Please, even if it's not distinction, please, it's good grades. You did not fail. Because the fact that you could do all of that as someone who has left everything familiar in a new place, with all the challenges that you had, and you had a child that was non-verbal, and thankfully you had a husband who was supportive, but you still came out and you're still glowing and you're still shining and you're still thinking of how to, make impact where you find yourself. I think that's a very amazing thing, and you should give yourself a pat on the back. If I'm more than a pat, you should, to yourself. You've done absolutely well, to be honest. I can't be more proud of you. Right now, I'm a very proud big sister. Yeah. Can't be more proud of you doing it, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I know that this year we're going to be hearing grains and oil everywhere. We'll be hearing everywhere, and then we get a lot of partnerships and get the money. Yeah. God has heard us, yes. So it's good to have you on the show. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Black Scottish Story.